Ladies and gentlemen, while they sleep, you're building a legacy. The world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards action. While most people are hitting snooze for the third time, you're already grinding. You're moving when others are standing still. You're putting in the reps when others are scrolling aimlessly. That's the difference. That's what separates the winners from the ones who just wish they were. The world is full of dreamers, but only a few become doers. And it's not because they're more talented, it's because they work while others wait. You've got to decide if you're being to be the person who watches others win or the one who gets up, shows up, and levels up. This message is for those who are ready to earn it, not talk about it. This is for the ones who understand. Success is rented, and rent is due every damn day. Let me tell you something loud and clear. Waiting is a killer. Not because it feels easy, but because it feels safe. But safety isn't where champions are made. Winners don't wait for the stars to align. They work through the storm. You're not going to find greatness by sitting on the sidelines, hoping for the right time. There is no perfect moment. The clock is ticking. And every second you waste is a second someone else is using to outwork you, outsmart you, and outlast you. Winners outlearn, outwork, and outgrind. While the average person says, "I'll start tomorrow," the winner says, "I started yesterday." Every hour, every set, every study, every project, it adds up. The ones you look up to, the ones you think have it all, they got there because they chose to work when no one was watching. They understood the secret. Progress doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you're willing to go the extra mile without needing applause. Discipline is the real flex. While they talk about goals, you're attacking yours. It's not there. While they wait for motivation, you're fueled by purpose. You're not building average, you're building excellence. And excellence doesn't come from convenience. It comes from consistency. From the early mornings, from the late nights, from putting in the work that nobody sees, and doing it without complaining. This is your time. Not next year, not next month, not next week. Now, you've got breath in your lungs and fire in your chest. Use it. Don't just exist, execute. Winners don't wait for a green light. They move like it's always green. Because it is, if you're willing to go. You've got to wake up hungry, hungry to grow, hungry to improve, hungry to prove to yourself that you're not like the rest. And you know what? Most won't get it. They'll call you obsessed. They'll say you work too hard. Let them. Because while they're sleeping in, relaxing, waiting for things to magically improve, you're already becoming unrecognizable. This is how you win. By putting in the unseen hours. By staying focused when everyone else is distracted. You either move with intention or get moved by excuses. Let's make one thing clear. Action without intention is just motion. And motion without direction is wasted energy. That's why winners don't just work hard. They work with clarity, with strategy, and with absolute intentionality. Every rep in the gym, every call they make, every task they complete, it all has a purpose. They don't just move to say they're busy, they move to build. That's the mindset that separates champions from the crowd. While the rest are busy staying busy, the winners are busy getting better. And winners don't move randomly. They move with a mission. They're not hoping for progress, they're planning it, executing it, tracking it. They aren't dabbling, they're dominating. You've got to understand that focus is a weapon, and clarity is your armor. When you know exactly what you want, you stop entertaining what you don't. This is where most people lose. They chase everything and catch nothing. They want results, but don't commit to the process. And here's the truth. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for consistently, intentionally, and relentlessly. You have to decide that every hour you put in is going to serve your future, not just fill your calendar. Stop doing things just to look productive. Start doing things that make you undeniable. Because the one who works with purpose becomes unstoppable. It's not about being perfect. It's about being disciplined, focused, relentless. So ask yourself right now, are you being intentional or are you just being active? Because the crowd is filled with people who are busy doing nothing, running in circles, starting over, stopping, restarting again next week. And while they spin their wheels, you've already planted your feet and started sprinting. You're not here to waste time. You're here to make moves. You can't keep playing defense in a game where winners are on offense 24/7. Winners don't react, they act. They don't wait for opportunity, they create it. That's why they win. Winners don't, not because life handed them more, but because they did more with what they had. Discipline is the differentiator. Not talent, not luck, not timing. It's the ability to stay locked in when everything around you tries to pull you off course. And you don't develop discipline overnight. You build it one intentional move at a time. One sacrifice, one grind, one choice to keep going when quitting would be easier. So, while the world waits, you work. While they scroll, you study. While they party, you prepare. Because the day is coming when the world will look at your results and realize you weren't lucky, you were laser focused. This is what separates the ones who talk from the ones who walk it. This is what turns a dream into a destiny. Embrace the grind. That's where greatness lives. Let's be real. The grind is not glamorous. It's not shiny. It's not for the weak. The grind is gritty. It's quiet. It's lonely. But it's also where greatness is born. While the world posts highlight reels, winners are in the shadows, sweating through setbacks and pushing through pain. Because they know the truth. Success is forged in the fire of repetition, discomfort, and discipline. You don't rise by wishing. You rise by working. Day after day, set after set. Early mornings, late nights, empty rooms, tired eyes, and a heart that refuses to quit. That's the grind. And that's why so few ever get to the top. Because the grind breaks the ones who are only in it for the attention. But it builds those who are in it for transformation. Winners understand this. The grind is the separator. It's not talent. Everyone has talent, but not everyone is willing to show up when it's boring, when it's brutal, when it's thankless. The grind doesn't reward the loud. It rewards the consistent. It's not just about what you do when you're motivated. It's about what you do when you're tired, when you're stressed, and no one's clapping. Anyone can grind for a day, but winners grind for decades. Because they're not chasing a moment, they're chasing mastery. Let that sink in. Mastery over hype. Execution over excuses. Grit over glamour. You've got to be willing to put in the work that most will never do, so you can live the life that most will never have. It's simple math. The harder you work, the further you separate. While they're sleeping in, you're stacking wins. While they're comfortable, you're becoming uncomfortable by choice, because that's where growth lives. You want to be great? Then love the grind. Respect it. Let it humble you, shape you, sharpen you. Don't run from hard. Don't hide from heavy. Because what breaks the average builds the elite. And here's the twist. The grind doesn't get easier. You get stronger. Your mindset sharpens. Your standards elevate. Your tolerance for excuses drops. You stop waiting for motivation and start moving off momentum. That's when you know you're becoming a winner. When you grind because it's who you are, not just what you do. That's the secret no one talks about. It's not a quick fix. Do not eat, even fall in power. It's not about hacks. It's about habits. Winners work while others wait because their grind has become automatic. They don't need perfect conditions. They just need a reason. And that reason is built on vision, pain, and purpose. So, here's your call to action. Don't just survive the grind. Own it. Dominate it. Fall in love with the work. Because once you embrace the process, the results will never be able to ignore you. This is where it happens. Not tomorrow. Now. Winners grind, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Delayed gratification, the real path to power. Everybody wants the reward, but almost no one wants to wait for it. That's why most people will never taste real success. Because real success doesn't show up fast. It doesn't appear overnight. It's earned through sacrifice, through patience, through the long grind that separates the committed from the curious. This is the mindset of winners. They're willing to give up what's easy now for what's extraordinary later. Let's face it, our world is addicted to speed. Quick results, fast money, instant likes. But winners, they're addicted to something else entirely. They're addicted to growth, to self-mastery, to long-term vision. They understand that short-term pleasure often kills long-term greatness. That's why, while others waste their time chasing comfort, winners are building character. When others look for shortcuts, winners are building strong foundations. Because winners understand, anything that comes easy can disappear just as fast. But when you build something through pain, persistence, and patience, it lasts. Delayed gratification is the ultimate strength test. It's the difference between a flash in the pan and a legacy that lives forever. It's saying, I don't need a trophy today, I'm building an empire tomorrow. You want to win? Get good at saying no. No to distractions. No to temptations. No to what feels good now, but robs you of your future. This is where most people fold. They want to feel good right now. not understanding they're trading their destiny for a dopamine hit. But not you. You've got a mission. You've got a vision that doesn't fit into a 24-hour gratification cycle. You're not here to get hyped. You're here to get better. So, stay the course. When the results are slow, double down. When progress is invisible, trust the process. Because winners don't panic, they persist. And every minute they delay gratification, they strengthen their discipline. They harden their mindset. They become unshakable. Let me tell you something powerful. The man or woman who can delay gratification becomes dangerous. Why? Because the world can't manipulate them anymore. Comfort can't seduce them. Doubt can't stop them. They know where they're going, and they know it's worth every sacrifice. This isn't about waiting passively. It's about working aggressively while being patient with results. That's the formula. Grind now, reap later. Work while others wait. And when the spotlight finally hits, when the results finally show, you won't just arrive, you'll dominate. You won't be surprised by success because you paid for it in full. With sweat, with hours, with sacrifice, with focus. This is the mindset of the uncommon, the unstoppable, the legendary. Relentless consistency, the edge that can't be matched. Motivation fades, hype dies, energy dips, but consistency, that's the game changer. That's the secret ingredient that transforms effort into excellence. If you want to win, not once, not for a moment, but for life, you need relentless consistency. The kind of consistency that doesn't check the weather, doesn't ask how you feel, and doesn't need applause to stay locked in. This is what most people don't get. They think success is about doing something great once in a while. But winners, they do the boring stuff better than anyone else, every single day. They don't rise to the level of motivation. They fall back on the level of their habits. That's why they win, because they're not relying on hype. They've built systems that don't fail. You want the results that last? Show up daily. When it's not fun, when it's inconvenient, when the grind feels stale. Because greatness doesn't come to the person who works hard once. It comes to the one who outworks everyone, every day. The one who stacks win after win, brick by brick, until the wall they've built can't be ignored. Consistency beats intensity. Every time. Anyone can go hard for a week. Anyone can grind when they're excited. But winners, they grind when it's hard. They grind when it's lonely. They grind when it feels like nothing is moving. Because deep down, they know every rep matters. Every move counts. Every step forward builds the future they're chasing. The enemy of greatness is inconsistency. It robs people of progress, destroys momentum, and keeps the average stuck in cycles. But if you decide to show up no matter what, if you train yourself to be unstoppable in your discipline, then no one, and I mean no one, can outlast you. But that's what makes a winner unshakable. Not talent, not talk, tenacity, repetition, reliability. You become the person people can't doubt. Not because of flash, but because you've been putting in the work longer, harder, and more consistently than anyone else. And here's the truth. Consistency builds confidence. When you know you've done the work, you walk differently. You speak with certainty. You think clearer. You move with momentum. That's what separates the committed from the curious. We feel that we need a love. So while others are waiting for the right time, you're out here executing. While they're on break, you're building legacy. Every morning, every set, every sacrifice. You're not working for attention. You're working for domination. Winners keep their promises to themselves. That's what consistency is. It's self-respect. It's mental toughness. It's the inner voice that says, we don't skip. We don't stop. They don't slack. Period. So, stop chasing motivation. Start building rituals. Show up. Rain or shine. Tired or ready. This is the edge the world can't fake. The slow, steady, disciplined pressure that cracks through mediocrity and rises into excellence. Well, because in the end, it's not the loudest who win, it's the most consistent. Total ownership. Take the wheel or stay stuck. You want to win? Then own everything. No more blaming. No more pointing fingers. No more excuses. Winners don't wait for handouts. They build their own ladders. They don't wait for someone to save them. They become their own rescue. The moment you take full ownership of your life is the moment you take back your power. Let's break it down. There are two types of people in this world. Victims wait. Victims hope. Victims wish things were different. But victors, they take charge. They adapt. They take responsibility, even when it's not their fault, because they understand that ownership is power. No one owes you success. No one is coming to fix your life. The sooner you stop expecting the world to hand you something, the faster you can start building everything you've ever dreamed of. You don't need permission to go get it. You need grit. You need ownership. You need obsession. Winners work while others wait, because they know that waiting is a trap. It's disguised as patience, but it's usually procrastination in a costume. Winners don't wait for perfect timing, because they know the clock is always ticking. And every excuse you accept is a brick in the wall between you and your future. You want to transform your life? Own your mornings. Own your attitude. Own your discipline. Own your mistakes. Own your story, even the broken chapters, and rewrite the ending with your own hands. Ownership means you take the hits without blaming the world. You don't get defensive, you get better. You don't cry about your obstacles, you conquer them. That's why winners are dangerous. They take 100% responsibility for 100% of their results. And you know what happens when you live like that? You stop waiting. You start moving. You start growing. Ownership builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. You stop asking if you're capable, and you start proving that you are. Look around. The world is full of people waiting for someone else to show up and fix everything. But not you. You're the one who steps in, steps up, and steps forward, no matter how heavy it gets. You've made the decision to own your grind, your growth, your greatness. That's why you'll win. Not because it's easy, not because it's fair, but because You refused to let anyone else write your story. This is the final shift, the one that separates winners from watchers. Own your life, every part of it, because when you own it, you can change it. Vision over distraction. Focus like your life depends on it. Let's make one thing crystal clear. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards focus. In a time where attention is the most stolen resource on the planet, the person who learns how to lock in, how to block out the noise, becomes unstoppable. Winners don't get distracted by things that don't move the needle. They don't chase every shiny thing. They chase one thing: the vision. Distraction is the silent killer of dreams. It doesn't hit you like failure. It doesn't scream in your face. It doesn't take place. It just creeps in, second by second, scroll by scroll, excuse by excuse, until you wake up one day and realize your dream died in the background of your comfort. But winners don't play that game. They know what they're building. They wake up every day with vision in their bloodstream. And because of that, they protect their focus like it's sacred, because it is. You can't build something legendary while your mind is everywhere and your habits are nowhere. You can't conquer your mountain when you're checking your phone every 5 minutes. You can't win big if you keep saying yes to everything that doesn't align with your future. So how do winners separate themselves? They draw a line. They declare war on distraction. They protect their time like a warrior protects his castle. They cut off people who drain them. They eliminate habits that slow them. They create space where growth can actually breathe. Focus isn't just about attention, it's about intention. It's knowing exactly where you're going and being willing to pay the price to get there. The price? Your comfort, your old life, your distractions. The things that used to entertain you can't live in the same space as the things that will elevate you. This is where most people get lost. They confuse movement with progress. But winners, they only move in the direction of their vision. Everything else is noise. Every second they invest is strategic. Every action they take builds momentum. They know what matters, and they don't trade it for what's trending. With focus is a superpower, and if you're not protecting it, you're giving away your power to people and platforms that don't care about your greatness. You don't need to do more. You need to do less with more intensity. So here's the challenge. Audit your life. Audit your day. Audit every hour. If it's not feeding your vision, it's feeding your failure. Cut it. Replace it. Walk in. Because focus is what separates the interested from the committed, the almosts from the legends. Winners work while others wait, and winners focus while others scroll. That's why they rise. That's why they last. That's why their names are etched in the walls of history, while the distracted just fade away. You get what you demand, not what you deserve. Let's destroy a myth right now. You don't get what you deserve in life. You get what you demand. You can be the hardest worker, the most talented, the smartest in the room. But if you don't step up and demand more from yourself, from your environment, from your life,
You'll be stuck watching people with less talent pass you by. Winners don't sit around waiting for what they think they deserve. They go out and take what they're willing to bleed for. We live in a world obsessed with fairness, but success isn't fair, and life doesn't play by your feelings. Life responds to pressure, to force, to energy, to action. And the truth is this: you don't rise to your level of desire, you rise to your level of standards. What are you demanding from your life right now? Be honest, because if your standards are low, your results will be too. You can't expect to live like a lion if your effort looks like a house cat. You can't talk champion but train like a quitter. The gap between where you are and where you want to be, it's measured by what you accept and what you refuse to tolerate. Winners raise their standards. Period. They demand excellence from themselves. Not just once, not just when it's easy, but every single day. They don't negotiate with laziness. They don't entertain weakness. They look in the mirror and say, this is not enough. I'm built for more. I will not settle. This isn't about ego. It's about identity. Because if you believe you were made to lead, to dominate, to create legacy, then you have to start demanding results that match that identity. No more shrinking. No more apologizing for wanting more. No more waiting for permission. You demand progress. And then you earn it through sacrifice. The world doesn't hand success to the good person. It hands it to the relentless person. The one who says, if it's not world class, it's not enough. The one who refuses to settle for mediocrity, even when it's comfortable. The one who is never satisfied because they know the price of potential wasted is regret. You demand effort, not excuses. You demand growth, not comfort. You demand wins, not wishes. Because once you get serious, once you flip the switch and start commanding more from every area of your life, you become untouchable. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. That's the cost of greatness. You'll outgrow people. You don't get what's fair. You get what you fight for, what you grind for, what you bleed for. Life gives nothing to the passive, but it will open every door for the one who refuses to settle. Winners work while others wait, because winners demand results while others hope for them. Discipline over everything. The final separator. This is the last chapter, and it's the most important one. The final separator between the winners and the wishers, between the doers and the dreamers, between the committed and the curious. And it all comes down to one word: discipline. Not motivation, not excitement, not hype. Discipline. Because when the hype fades, when the excitement dies down, when the world stops clapping, only the disciplined are left standing. That's what makes a winner. It's not about how fired up you are when it's easy. It's about how locked in you stay when it's brutal. Discipline is the thread that runs through every champion's DNA. It's the invisible force that shows up when no one else does. The early mornings, the lonely nights, the reps you don't post, the sacrifices you don't share. That's the real grind. That's the backbone of success. Everyone wants the result, but few have the stomach for the routine. Few are willing to wake up at 4 a.m.,
and do the work with no applause, no camera, no instant gratification. Few are willing to say no to temporary pleasure in exchange for long-term greatness. But the winners, they do it. Every single day.
You see, motivation is momentary. Discipline is a lifestyle. It's brushing your teeth even when you're tired. It's eating clean when no one's watching. It's showing up when you're sore, when you're frustrated, when you're discouraged.
Because winners aren't driven by mood, they're driven by mission. If motivation is the spark, discipline is the engine. And the people who win, the people who break records, the people who lead legacies, they've mastered one skill above all: doing what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. That's what separates the top 1%. Not talent, not look, no discipline. That cold, brutal, uncompromising self-command that says, I will not be ordinary. I will not skip. I will not soften. I will show up every single time. And here's the truth most people ignore. You already have what it takes. You've always had it. But if you don't train your discipline like a muscle, if you keep letting comfort, feelings, and fatigue run your life, then greatness will always be just out of reach. Winners work while others wait, because winners are disciplined while others are distracted. They don't flinch when it's hard. They don't quit when it's slow. They grind and it's boring. They repeat the reps that others call too much. They don't wait for the perfect conditions. They create the perfect execution. Discipline doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't respond to your pain. It's cold. It's demanding. And it's the most powerful tool you'll ever possess. Because once you build it, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not failure, not fatigue. Because once discipline is in your bones, you become relentless. You become inevitable. You become the kind of person who wins, no matter what. So here we are, the final truth, the last hour, the ultimate message. Stay disciplined. Stay locked in. Stay on the grind. Winners aren't made by wishing, waiting, or whining. They're built by showing up over and over and over. This is your moment. This is your blueprint. Now it's time to execute. Winners work while others wait. And starting today, you don't wait. You win.
If this message lit a fire in you, don't let it fade. Let it fuel your next move. Hit that subscribe button right now, because this channel is built for those who refuse to settle, for those who rise early, work late, and grind while the rest of the world sleeps. Smash that like button if you're committed to being the hardest worker in every room you walk into, and drop a comment below. Because talk is cheap, but action echoes forever. And remember this: winners work while others wait. So the next time you feel tired, unmotivated, or tempted to quit, come back to this video. Let it remind you what you're fighting for. Let it remind you who you really are. You were born to win. Now go prove it.